The views and opinions expressed by the participants on this show are not necessarily those of Steward Information Services Corporation, Steward Title, or Steward Insurance. Before you make any investment, you should seek the advice of your investment advisor or attorney.
Whether you're a real estate broker, realtor, homeowner, buyer, or seller, everything matters when it comes to real estate. This is Real Estate Matters with Steward Title. Steward Title's Bill Knapik and guests open the door to what really matters in owning, buying, and selling real estate. And now, Real Estate Matters with Steward Title, brought to you by Steward Insurance. Here to inform, entertain, and inspire, Bill Knapik.
Welcome to the show. It is Real Estate Matters with Steward Title. Thank you for joining us. I'm always excited about each and every show. Today we're going to talk to realtors, a team leader with Keller Williams Memorial, all sorts of things. We're going to explore real estate even in different geographies right here around the Houston, Texas area. So, as always, check out stewart.com/radio. That's right. If you want to see and hear this show, again, simply go to stewart.com/radio, or you could find past shows last week, the week before. Yes, you can hear and see the shows anytime you want, anywhere you want, at stewart.com/radio. And let's get down to business right now as we talk to the team leader with Keller Williams Memorial right here in Houston, Texas. His name is Larry Frawley. Larry, welcome back to the show.
Thanks so much for having me. By the way, I love the new digs you guys are in here now. This is pretty nice. I got to see the old and I got to see the new.
Yes, indeed you have, and it's exciting. Anything new like this, professional, it adds a certain element, and you're feeling it already. I'm excited about that.
I'm feeling it already. Yeah.
So, Larry, your company, Keller Williams Memorial, is doing tremendous work. Your associates, your realtors are winning awards right and left. We visited at the Houston Business Journal Awards. We saw you there. Your guys were receiving all kinds of awards for a variety of reasons. Some of that is the leadership that's provided right there at your organization, Keller Williams Memorial. Let's tell people about Keller Williams Memorial.
So Keller Williams Memorial, so we're Houston's largest Keller Williams franchise now of, there's about 800 offices out there nationwide. It's a very, very large franchise. We're worldwide, and we're Houston's largest. So we're just under 700 agents in our office, and we're still growing. About $1.9 billion in sales last year.
One of the things, as far as Keller Williams, just in general, when we talk to people at Keller Williams, or we know about the people there, you're known for training. And I think that a lot of your agents do so well for a variety of reasons, but one is the training that's provided by your offices, your local offices like yours, and then also Keller Williams in general. Tell us a little bit about some of the distinctions in training that you provide.
It's a great question. Keller Williams is a very learning-based company. And I tell agents, if you're not learning-based, we may not be the right fit for you, right? Just to be honest. It's, from a brand new agent coming in to our experienced agents, it's still the business changes, the way the business works and operates. We are going through a shift now. We'll talk about that if you want to talk about that in a few minutes. And yet it is all about the training and education. And by the way, we know, agents that are learning-based that are coming into the business today are going to do statistically better than the agents that are not learning-based.
And when we think about the agent, there are, as far as the best kind of agent, the best fit for you, or even in general, when someone just gets right out of real estate school, they're looking for the right broker. As a team leader, you talk to these people. What makes a good person that's going to be successful in real estate? What do you see in them when they first come out of real estate school? What do you look for?
So the ones that are, here's what I'll say. The ones that are going to statistically make it easier are those that are people skilled, right? Relationship skilled.
And you see that right off the bat, I guess.
You do. You see that right up front with them from the beginning. Now, with that said, I've got engineers who are very successful, who are not necessarily really people skilled or relationship skilled, and yet they still do very well. So you never try to judge.
You have to be ready for those surprises.
You got to be ready. Yeah, you got to be ready. And, a lot of it on an appointment, it's getting to know them, but it's asking them a question. What's important to you? What's important to you? Why did you get in real estate? Well, I like to look at the HD TV shows. Okay, that's not real. However, what have you done towards your education? What have you done toward training? Are you afraid of sales? Are you afraid of picking up the phone and calling somebody, right? So those are usually the questions that we get into. What does your database look like? Well, I don't have a database. Oh, well, actually you do. Pull out your phone, right? How many people you have in that phone right there? So that's kind of what we look for.
And then let's take an established agent, someone that's been in the business 6-7 years. They were at this broker, they were at that one. They come over to Keller Williams Memorial, they talk to you, and they say, hey, Larry, I'm thinking about, is there a fit for us here? How does that work, and what do you look for when you have, we'll say, a seasoned agent sitting in front of you?
Typically, when they come over, they've already got a system that they've been using, right? They've got something that they've done that's been part of what their success is. And what we do is we see if there's a way that we can help them build their business into something bigger, if that's their goal, right? So maybe they have a challenge with their administrative staff, right? We do a lot around helping our teams hire, right? Because an agent's, all of a sudden they're real busy, and now they got no time to go out and try to hire. And usually sometimes they're not really good at the hiring process, where we are. So we help them with that.
So you have, and I'm talking about training, but that's not the only that's not the only tool that you provide. Give us an idea of some of the things that you're doing there at Keller Williams Memorial.
One of the things we started here about 6 months ago is we have free transaction coordinators. Our free transaction coordinators will help our agents. Sometimes they're not necessarily the best at the paperwork part, right? They're really great at sales. They're really great at getting out. And I'm getting smiles from over here across the room. That's what they're really good at. So we help them on leveraging, so a transaction coordinator will help leverage them on the paperwork side of the business.
You were talking about a shift.
I tell people a shift is not a bad thing. It is not bad by no means. Could we say that the market was different 6 months ago than it is today?
I would say yes. We're
in a shift, right? That's all. It's in a shift. Now, I don't know how many people were in business in 2008 and 2009. I lived that bloodbath, and it wasn't a lot of fun. And yet there were agents that came out of that did very, very, very extremely well, because it was a different market. They've said we're not going to go back that far, but who knows, right? Who really knows, right? Interest rates go up, right? Gary Keller says, interest rates might not be high enough because, people are still buying, right? They're still buying. We're still short of inventory, right? So, and I'll just say this selfishly, we're in Houston. Gas prices are way up. That's oil. That's people working.
Well, we have a few advantages in Houston. One, gas prices have gone up, but they're not as high as other places.
That's exactly right.
And as the market's changing, we still, last I heard, are a very attractive city out of all the cities in the United States to want to be in. So that's helping us too. Or
Absolutely.
That perhaps if things go south, that's delaying that aspect of it.
It's medical, it's technology, right? There's a lot more things coming into Houston now. So,
well, as the team leader at Keller Williams Memorial, you're always thinking you're ready to be nimble along with the agents and ready to adjust to whatever the market conditions is, because people still need to buy, they need to sell, and all that. It's just going to be under different circumstances, it sounds like.
I said to my boss the other day, Craig Owen, we were talking, and he said, the nice part is, he said, I always loved, just recruiting in a tough market, right? That was a lot of fun. And I agree that is where it's nice to have a new challenge, right? It's nice to have a new challenge. Our goal is that we're helping agents every day. We're helping them with their business every day. There's a shift that's happening, right? We're going to have to do business a little bit differently. By the way, it won't be average days on market of 30 days. Maybe it's an average days of 60 days or 90 days, right?
Whatever it will be, will be.
But guess what? Buyers will actually get the home that they want to purchase.
It might be easier for the buyer, quite frankly, and it'll be very interesting. As far as some of the other things you're doing, what about property management? We talked a little bit about that prior to the recording here.
Yeah, so I did this year. I, with my wife and daughter, have opened up my own property management company. Houston has a significant amount of rentals, which is good. And it's one thing, if we talk about a shift, that never changes, right? Property management never changes. People are always looking to to rent, and owners, investors are always looking for somebody to manage their properties. So, yeah.
That's a very important job, too. When we think about property management, if I were to have a rental home or a home that I designate as rental and try to manage it myself, well, that's one of the reasons I don't want to do that, because I don't want people to be calling and having, I mean, that so many things can go wrong with a home, period. But then when you're responsible for providing that service, that's a big job.
Well, think about it. Real estate is the greatest source of wealth, right? Anybody that's got a lot of money has real estate somewhere in their portfolio. So sometimes it's like, I really don't want to manage it, right? I don't want to do any of that. I just want to have the investment. So that's where we step in and help them out.
And Larry, before we close the segment, what else do you want people to know? We're talking with Larry Frawley, the team leader at Keller Williams Memorial right here in Houston.
Right here in Houston. So there's a rumor on the street, and the rumor is that we're going to be moving our location. Well, the rumor's true. I won't tell you where it is yet, but it's a little closer to the Galleria area than what we are currently right now, and it's an exciting time. We're going to put a lot of money into the building ourselves, so that'll be one really nice factor coming up, and probably either very late 22 or early 23.
Well, one of the other distinctions I'm now thinking of with Keller Williams in general is that you have the family reunion where you all get together once a year at a location. If you could share with us maybe one or two things that, as the whole company in general looks at, and you talk back and forth to people in various locations, what are some of the things that they're talking about as far as what's going to happen next as a general thing, as a major company, Keller Williams?
I still think all of the conversations that we're starting to have, and Gary Keller's starting to have with us, it really is about the shift. It's just kind of preparing our agents for that coming up. You don't want to have to move into a market like that where you're not prepared. So a lot of our training, our teams are building, they're expanding all over the country, what we call Keller Williams expansion. So this year we're out February we're in California. We're going to be out there at Disneyland with that one. So that'll be exciting time. And we have literally about 22,000 of our associates that come in just for that.
How
all
many?
Over the world, about 21,000 all over the world.
Years ago, I was at one of the family reunions in Las Vegas. It was super. It was fun, informative, and also very motivating.
Oh, yeah. Vegas is one of our – so we've gotten so big, there's only certain locations. California's one. We've got Vegas. We've got Dallas. We've got New Orleans. And we've got Orlando. And that's really about the only places that are big enough now for us to travel into.
And Larry, if someone wants to learn more about your company, Keller Williams Memorial, what should they do?
Give me a call. 713-899-7394. He's going to say it again.
One more time.
713-899-7394.
Thank you so much, Larry Frawley with Keller Williams Memorial. Thanks, Larry.
Thank you, Bill.
Let's talk real estate with Angie Middlebrooks with RE/MAX Traditions. Angie, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me.
Well, let's tell people RE/MAX Traditions. Your office is located where?
We are in Richmond, Texas. We're in the historic district on Morton Street.
Well, it's interesting. Towns like Richmond, Magnolia, Tomball, there are certain little historic districts which, to me, add an extra element of fun and a great place to be. Let's tell people about Richmond.
Well, Richmond is the county seat, a great location in Fort Bend County. We are expanding rapidly and greatly. So if you think about how much land is left or not left in Sugar Land, they're moving out to Richmond-Roseburg, which is why I opened the office there.
So it's a new office?
It is. We are a brand new franchise, brand new RE/MAX office. Technically, we're the only, I'm going to say branded, I hope I don't get in trouble for saying that, branded real estate office in the Richmond-Rosenberg area.
You're making, I'm sure people listening will want to visit. You're making me want to visit right now when I hear brand new and also a part of town I want to learn more about. How is the real estate activity out there right now?
We're very strong. We're still maintaining the same statistics that are happening everywhere else where they say marketing times are still, under 30 days. We're still selling a little bit over list. All of that applies. The only thing that I would say is it's maybe just slowing down a little bit, meaning people have more options, but that's not a bad thing.
Not bad at all. So let's give a geographic area that you're covering. Are you also serving people in Sugar Land?
Say their name. There's another RE/MAX office in Sugar Land. So respectfully, I stay on my side of the river.
Okay, so is that Crab River Road, by the way?
Yeah.
How did I know that?
Well, that you cross the river, and then you have Greatwood right there on your left. So that's your first exit. That's
now,
99.
I think about it, even going back years ago, at one time, Crab River Road seemed like it was way out.
It most definitely was. Before Greatwood went in, there was nothing else there.
But everything caught up to it and beyond.
Yes.
It's great. I was out there just not that long ago. I don't even know why, but I was. So in the meantime, there you are out there, and let's take that markation, Crab River Road.
Okay.
Is that Richmond right there?
It is annexed. That has a Sugarland address on part of the road. And if you continue down on the other side of it, like people can see my hands, it's Richmond on one side, Sugarland on the other. Yeah.
So where you're at, you're helping buyers and sellers with homes where there's neighborhoods, right? Like normal neighborhoods, we'll call whatever.
We call them lot and block.
Lot and block. There you go. I'm learning. I learn every show. Yeah. And then you're also, I'm guessing, helping people where they say, hey, look, Angie, I want something a little bit more in the country.
Farm and ranch.
Yes. Yeah. So you have a knowledge of both of those categories.
Yes. So, and generally speaking, when you're out in our area, you're going to have to do both. And it's fun. Makes it way more fun, actually.
So you're helping the person that says, hey, I just want a house in a lot and block, although they won't use that term. I just want a house. Mm-hmm. But then you might help the person that might even live in Katy, like me, that says, hey, I have my house, but I want to get away with a little bit of land, maybe a metal building, a shop, that kind of thing.
And that has happened a lot since COVID.
I was going to say.
We call it the Great Migration. The folks from the city move to the suburbs. The people from the suburbs move to the country.
Some people want a little bit more room, right?
Absolutely.
You're seeing that. And I think another thing, as we live life only once, some of us want to try new things along the way. I want to live in a high-rise for part of my time. I want a regular house, or I want to be in the country. You find that?
I'm finding a lot more people are looking for a little bit of land. We call it the unicorn. People are looking for the perfect little house on 2 acres with a shop.
Do they ever find it?
Well, of course, they have me.
With Angie Middlebrooks, that's one, the secret's out. That's one way to find what you're looking for. Give us an idea. People hear this show certainly in Houston, Texas at the time of broadcast. However, far beyond on the internet from other states and who knows where else. Describe the area that we're talking about as far as the Richmond, Rosenberg. What's that look like? Paint that picture for someone that hasn't been out there.
So I'm going to call it Fort Bend County. That'll be our starting point for people to start zeroing down on. So Richmond and Rosenberg are growing communities. I will say they are the sugar land of 15 to 20 years ago. So lots of development, maybe shopping centers are coming about, new neighborhoods, high-end neighborhoods are all coming about, but not just Richmond and Rosenberg, because then just right outside of that, we're touching Katy, we're touching Fulshear, we're touching Beasley, we're going into the county area of Fort Bend, going toward Needville.
Let's tell people about Needville. Now, where is that in relationship to, let's say, 59 and Crab River Road? How does that? Where does Needville come in?
As the crow flies, it's probably 10 or 15 minutes from that intersection.
Is that more rural there?
Very. Now, that's where I got started. I had the privilege of starting at a RE/MAX office in Needville.
So you know the area.
I do, and I live out there too.
So someone that might be a city slicker right here in Houston among the high-rises we're looking at out the window right now, hey, I want to keep my high-rise, but I might want to go to Needville to get that, talk to Angie about that rural land.
Yeah, absolutely. So, and that guy that has that high-rise, since I went to school at Poe and Lanier here in the city.
You were in the city.
Yeah. I was in the city. I have that knowledge too, and I can share the best of both worlds.
You can tell them how to get there.
Exactly.
No doubt about it. You've been in real estate how many years, roughly?
Cumulatively 15. I started out as a receptionist at Bradfield Properties in San Antonio, Texas. Ended up in as an asset manager doing REO work. So your previous guest, when he talked about the downfall, I learned that you can stay busy with REO work.
As far as real estate right now and through these years, what keeps you excited about it and what do you love about it? Here you are, you just opened a brand new office, so that in itself is maybe a new exhilaration, but what do you love about it so much?
The real estate bug, as I call it, is probably what bit me. I was an education major. I wanted to be a teacher. That's what I was going to go to school for. Was supposed to be working part-time at a real estate company, and I realized it's really the people skills. You know, when you're with the girl in school that got in trouble for talking too much, and then you can get paid to talk too much, it's great.
You got in trouble in school?
For talking.
Well, some people make a living doing that, right?
It's working out really well in my favor now.
Who would have thought? So that is awesome. As far as when you look ahead right now, we're talking about how things are changing. Well, hey, things are always changing. I mean, you look at real estate from the beginning of Houston. We had a historian on the show. We're very real estate centric in Houston, but As you look ahead, if you were to guess, based on your experience from here to, say, the end of the year, how do you see the trends shaping?
Inventory is going to increase.
I like that.
More people are going for it and putting their properties on the market. We're getting away from the fear from COVID, so I think that's helping. But I don't think prices are going to come down a whole lot. We may be seeing a little bit, but if people are thinking about buying, saying, hey, I'm going to wait until prices drop, I don't think that's going to be very effective.
Now that you mentioned that, there are two categories. I think I'm going to wait categories. One of them is, I think I'm going to wait till the home prices go down. You've heard that. And then the other, I think I'm going to wait till my interest rates go down.
Well, okay, so you ask, who am I talking to? Like, let's just say I'm talking to a first-time home buyer. And I always ask them, is your rent going to go down?
No.
The answer is no. But your house payment is going to stay consistent. Now, granted, we know that we have taxes and whatnot, but you have appreciation, and it's an asset, even with a higher interest rate. And that interest rate will come down at some point in time, and then maybe you refi like people were doing 2 years ago.
Or pay it off.
Well, that's true.
Or pay more.
Pay more. We can always pay what? An extra house payment a year makes a huge difference.
Lots of options out there. So what do you, as far as the people you're helping, are they any of them from outside of Houston?
Yes. We've had, because we have a power plant out in our area, we do have a whole...
Needville?
Well, no, it's not quite Needville. It's closer to Bay City. We have a lot of folks moving from up north, Wisconsin, areas like that are coming from other nuclear power plants moving here. I've had the privilege of working with a lot of those folks.
That's fascinating. It's good to hear that it's not only Californians that are moving here. I've never heard anyone say people from Wisconsin are, but that's a good one.
I think I've only had 4 California clients.
So tell us again about this power plant thing. So there are people that are working. Why do they want to leave Wisconsin in this case?
Well, they're just being transferred. There's
okay.
I believe that little town is called Wadsworth, if I think correctly. But anyway, big power plant there. Have lots of people moving down for it. So we help them when they get here.
And then how do they find your company and Angie Middlebrooks?
Ironically, I had the privilege of working with one VP who called me based on looking me up on my website, served him well, and I have had many a referral just started from him.
Word spreads.
Mm-hmm. Take care of your people. They'll take care of you.
That's a good point. So here you are. As far as serving, what is your philosophy as you bring that up? How do you make sure that you provide that extra level of service with buyers and sellers? And I say that, and I mean, what's your mindset to be able to do that consistently where people are saying, hey, you need help, call Angie?
I make it an experience. It's not just service, because most people can go to get service anywhere, but it's creating an experience that they enjoy going through and they're going to tell somebody about.
You make it sound easy. There are challenges, though, right?
Well, there are. Absolutely. No doubt. But when you're a people person, I do think it comes a little bit easier.
Exactly. So then as your mindset for success, how do you stay organized? Because you're out there, especially now, you've opened a new office.
Correct.
So you have that going on, and you're juggling all the different things that are happening in real estate anyway. How do you stay balanced, if there's such a thing?
Well, I'm kind of living the dream. For a girl that wanted to be a teacher, I now have new agents on board, and I'm getting to be the classroom teacher, if you will. It's quite rewarding. I don't know how else to say that. So getting that opportunity, I created my lesson plans. We have weekly events. We work through anything that I'm personally touching. And then I, too, have a transaction coordinator. She's just priceless.
Yeah, they come in handy, I would think.
Yes.
We also want to thank Kevin Davidson, our Steward Title Business Development Officer, for telling us about you and getting you on the show.
Well, I, too, appreciate him. He has definitely been our go-to for title and training. Couldn't ask for a better contact.
There you go. Before we close the segment, Angie Middlebrooks with RE/MAX Traditions. What else do you want people to know?
If you're looking for property, you're looking for land or a home in the greater Fort Bend area, I'd love to be your first contact. And more importantly, if you're an agent shopping, thinking about a new place to roost, I'd love to hear from you.
Agents will roost every now and then, right?
They do. Yeah.
Well, I like that.
So we have our room where all the agents have just their desk where they can just come in, and we call it the nest.
Okay, different subject, but kind of on the rural theme before we close. If there is someone thinking, because people think about Lake Conroe over here, they think about Livingston, Lake Livingston, and or the country life, the forest life that those areas provide. Now you brought up something new, Needville. What are some of the benefits if someone said those 3 areas specifically? What is the bullet points of why Needville should be a contender for that rural life?
Well, it's not just Needville. It's Richmond, Rosenberg included.
All right.
Beasley is one of the fastest growing areas that offers. So we're close to the beach. We have lots of people that go down to Sargent and Matagorda. I also work those markets. Little added plug there.
Matagorda, yep, that's a place.
We've got 2 rivers. You have most people that enjoy any of your hunting and fishing. You've got great areas to do it down there. We have great state parks. Like I live out by Brazos Bend State Park. I can't tell you how full that park gets on the regular. There's just a multitude of outdoor activities in addition to just having all of your basic city conveniences right there, but with a little more elbow room.
You are the ambassador, Angie Middlebrooks. Thank you for being on the show. Let's tell people how they can reach out to you.
All right, 832-228-7737. One more time, 832-228-7737.
And your website is?
I am askagentangie.com. You can get a little bit more about me individually. We are traditions-realty.com for our brokerage information.
And you can call Angie at 832-228-7737. Thank you, Angie Middlebrooks.
Thanks for having me on the show.
Let's talk to Victoria Amox. She is with Blue Moon Estate Sales. Victoria, welcome to the show.
Hello. Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Well, this is going to be awesome because we have never had anybody to talk about estate sales that I can recall in 430 some shows. So,
okay.
So let's
great.
tell people about Blue Moon Estate Sales.
Okay. We are a franchise in Katy. It's a nationwide company, and we do estate sales through pretty much the north part of Houston, Katy, Brookshire, Sugarland, Fulshire, Cy-Fair.
What about right here in Houston in the center, like uptown area?
Yes, we do. We've done the Heights. We've done Rice Village. We have one off of South or North Post Oak that we're starting tomorrow. So for our franchise, we don't go over into Montgomery at this point.
Well, let's tell people, as far as estate sales, I'm sure those two words bring all kinds of images to people,
Right.
But let's tell people what it is that you're doing with estate sales. Is it that I have a house, let's say in Katy, and I say, hey, Victoria, I want to sell everything or most of everything in my house, and you come into action?
Right. We come and we do a free consultation on the contents of the home, and that includes the garage, any storage buildings, and the whole house. We, then we would discuss, what the commission would be. Then it would be, we'd sign the contract, and then after that, we'd set a date. The estate sales are on the weekends, Saturday and Sunday, and we would come in. We stage, price, get the house ready. It will look like a pop-up retail shop when we're finished.
That's a lot of work.
It really is, but we've got it down. Our group, we all have our own niches, and we all kind of go to the section where we're the best at, and we get it done in 3 days. From 3 days for all of the pricing and all the staging. And that's going through every single thing. We go through all the junk drawers. We go through everything in the closet. And the only thing we don't go through is
junk. Wait a minute. I just had an image of a lot of junk drawers at my house and other people's.
Well, and then we'll throw it all in
there's
together.
Rubber bands. There's pencils, pens.
Right. Well, we don't spend a lot of time with that.
Right.
We'll just bag all that type of stuff, all the office supply stuff, and sell it for $1. But as far as pricing, we use fair market pricing for everything. Your regular items in the kitchen, like your appliances and stuff like that, there's a range for those. But anything that looks like it could be more expensive, or it could be a collectible, we will look that up and get a fair market price for that. Since we do have a corporate office, we have a lot of different sites that are at our disposal to be able to look these things up and find them and get a good price for them. When the day of the sale, we have people lined up. They're lined up outside. We do a lot of social media advertising for them. And that's one of the things that makes it so much better to have an estate sale than try to do a garage sale on your own, is because of all of the people that will get coming into the sale.
Who are the best candidates, or who are the people that are using your services the most? And I'm already thinking of several applications, but...
Well, we have a lot of people that are downsizing. They're going to smaller homes. People that have, a 5-bedroom house, and now they want to move into a smaller place. The kids are gone. And, several of them, they just want to sell everything. And they're going to start over because they're going to end up with, a good chunk of change when we're finished with the estate sale. There's also, of course, bereavement, situations where, the death in the family.
Sure.
Are people moving into retirement communities or assisted living and they can't take everything in their home? And it's quick. It's something that, we do it, like I said, it's 1 week and we're in and out, and the client gets paid within 5 to 7 business days after we're finished with an inventory of everything that was sold.
It really sounds like precision is an important element in what you're doing to be able to take a massive task, in many cases, simplify it, get the job done, and it's done.
Yeah, it is, and it's really kind of
Wow.
cool. It's kind of cool to watch because the team, like I said, everybody kind of goes and does their thing, and we bring stuff to each different room if it looks like it should be in the room, and we decide where all the Christmas goes and where's all the office going to go, and then it's just a big team effort, and we just can do it.
Okay, so the sequence again. Let's say I'll use myself as an example. Okay, I want to move into a loft. I don't need the garage. I don't need any of this stuff anymore. I'm going to keep a few essentials. Victoria, what happens? You come to my house,
right?
Look at this, and then how long does it take you to evaluate what's going to happen in terms of your team coming in and labeling and itemizing?
Okay, well, we would start by taking some pictures, and sometimes we can come up with a solution right then, but sometimes we may have to go back and kind of do some research to get some items that we need to know how much they were, so that we can talk about how much we think the sale
pricing
can make.
the items is important.
Yes, but we don't do it at that stage. We just kind of get a ballpark on what we think, what we think the sale is going to make. It'll be after we do the contract that we're going to come in, and that's when we're going to do all the staging and taking everything out of everywhere and getting it all staged very nice. And we have these 6-foot tables with black tablecloths on them, and they're just set up, and you just walk through the house.
So from the time the consultation, let's say it's a Monday, you come to someone's house, you go through this consultation, you go back to your office, strategize,
Right.
And then then staging is the next step.
Right. We would set up a date when the client wants to come. It wouldn't be that week. It would be after we look
Could
at
be
everything.
2 weeks from now or
Right.
whatever. Okay, for them.
Right. And then and then we would come out, and then it's either Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, or Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. And then we take a break, and then we go into the sale.
And there's a part also where you're promoting this, as you said, on social media.
Yes, I do that. I'm promoting the sale all through the process. When we take the pictures at the client's house and we get the contract, we then post the pictures on BlueMoonEstateSales.com. And that way people can see the pictures before they even get to the sale, and they'll know what's out there.
So they're getting ready.
Right.
And some people are looking for certain items
Yes.
already, depending on what their thing is.
Right, and we have a huge following, so there's a lot of people that come to all the sales, and then there's resellers, and there's antiquers, and people that want to just come see. But people think that estate sales are all antiques and fine art and this, and they're not. There may be, but it's the full contents of the whole home. It's the bedroom, it's the bedroom sets, it's all the kids' toys. If they had some, all the art on the walls, all the, we have
Pots
lawnmowers,
and pans. There's pots and pans.
Pots and pans, all the little gadgets in the kitchen, all that stuff is just out there for everybody to look at. And the really good thing is, real estate agents are really good for us, and we move so many people through the house, hundreds of people on that weekend. That's so much more than what they would get on an open house if the house was up for sale.
So the value you're adding is several-fold in helping in so many ways.
Yes, it is.
Sounds like fun, too.
It is.
You're getting to see some things that's like, wow.
Oh, yeah, I see a lot of things. And you just kind of have to leave your wallet in the car as an employee.
Then you're going to be saying, I think I need that at my house.
The good thing is that we have to wait till after the customers go through. So hopefully all the things I want are gone.
So the sale takes place as people walk through, right. The home, after it's all set up and professional. Mm-hmm. And what if there's stuff left?
If there's stuff left, then we have some resources to let the client know, people that will come and pick up their items or places to donate. And we usually take pictures as soon as the estate sale's over so that the client will know what's left over and who they need to call. We're
talking with Victoria Amox with Blue Moon Estate Sales, helping people here in Houston, Texas. And that's a very important thing. And if there's a death in the family, a father or whatever, and then the children have to come in, they don't know what to do. They have this house they want to sell, and they have all this stuff in the house right there. There's an application for probably, I don't know, 30% of your business. Who knows, but that's very important because you're really helping people out.
Yeah, it really is. And we really take in consideration, the compassion that it takes to for these people, towards these people, because almost in any of these circumstances, there's been some type of life change that they're going through to be getting rid of most of their possessions. We take that in consideration because we want to give the best customer service and handle each situation, as it needs to be. And I wanted to add too that our employees are trained. That's what makes us really special. We're trained through the corporate office, and they take courses online. There's about 8 or 9 of them, so that they know something about everything. Well, I just want everybody to know that this takes the stress out of sometimes a mess. And we take care of it from start to finish. No worries.
Even the garage.
Oh, the garage we make look excellent. Yeah. The garage looks really nice. We have Edward that does that, and that looks really.
So you have a person just assigned to that. He's the specialist.
He's the owner of the company is Colin Atchison of the franchise, and his son Edward he likes the garage. So we get it. It looks really nice when you walk into one of our sales. It looks nice. There's nothing that you have to fiddle through, through boxes or anything like that, because it's all laid out so that you can walk smoothly through the whole house.
So at least 2 categories of people are listening right now. Those that want to go to your sales to acquire some of these items in a home, and then also those that want to get rid of the items that are in their home, downsize, and those other applications. So let's tell people how they can reach you.
They can reach us. Our phone number is 832-614-8490. Our website is bluemoonestatesales.com. And you can reach me at vamox@bluemoonestatesales.com. And once again, that's 832-614-8490. That's our main number.
And on the website, does that tell us where there's going to be an estate sale?
Yes.
So if we want to plan, and that could be our new hobby, searching estate sales. There you go.
Yeah, well, there's a lot of people that do that. Yeah,
no doubt.
Oh, and let me add, on Sunday, it's half price day. So if you're willing to wait and see if it's still there, you can get it half price on Sunday.
So the pricing is staggered down the longer it sits there.
Right.
Fascinating.
Right.
Victoria Amox, Blue Moon Estate Sales. Thanks for being on the show, Victoria.
Okay, well, thanks for having me.
Real Estate Matters with Steward Title would not be possible without our partner, Steward Insurance. With a focus in real estate and a special focus on real estate brokers, Steward Insurance creates insurance plans to address the risks facing our industry today. They invest a significant amount of time helping real estate broker owners offset and manage their risks. Here he is today, John Bramlett with Steward Insurance. John, welcome to the show.
Bill, always a pleasure to be with you.
I said it before, we learn every show about so many things. It's fascinating.
It really is. Growing up in Alvin, I obviously knew a bit about Richmond Rosenberg, but to hear about the growth that's taking place in that area and all that's happening is really interesting. And like you said, it gives me the impetus to drive down there and see what's going on.
Oh, yeah. Crab River Road, here we come. We're going to go out. We ought to do a location show there sometime because there's stuff going on every nook and cranny of this city. It's hard to keep up.
It is, but that's the beauty of Real Estate Matters is that, each week our listeners have an idea of what's happening in the marketplace, both locally and, throughout the U.S. If they miss a show, heaven forbid, then they can go to stewart.com/radio and catch our past shows.
It's that easy. I bet there are people listening outside of Houston that are curious about Houston when they hear all these things described. I'm just guessing there's regular listeners out there that may never move to Houston, but I think they view it as a form of entertainment.
Absolutely. Well, and then having the ability to find us on the iHeartMedia app is even a greater reach for us.
So easy. And then we have the subject of insurance, which is always awesome. Let's tell people about Steward Insurance and what you want to bring forth today.
Steward Insurance is an independent property and casualty insurance broker, part of the Steward Title family. Our goal is to be the insurance resource for real estate. So whether you're buying a home, renting a home, need flood insurance, renter's insurance, we can help on that side. Or if you're a real estate broker, property management firm, independent title and attorney agent, lender, we can help with your business insurance. So the professional liability, cyber liability, general liability plans.
Covering so many bases. In fact, we think about, I'm hearing more about rentals today as well, people renting apartments, but also in the last week I've heard 2 people looking for homes, rental homes. So that in itself, sometimes as a renter, we forget, I better get some insurance.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And today I'd like to talk a little bit about how you can minimize your risk of being hacked.
It's happening all the time.
There was a great special section in the June 8th issue of the Wall Street Journal that you shared with me. Occasionally they'll come out with these really great special sections on cybersecurity.
I love that, yeah.
And there was an article that was really interesting, I thought, about how can you protect your passwords.
How can you remember them? That's another thing.
That was part of the issue, is that in one of the studies that was done by one of the firms that was referenced in the article, most people average about 150 sites where they are active where a password is either necessary or should be necessary. And if you think about between yourself as an individual, what you have at work, and then what your family might have, it's easy to see how you could get to 150 pretty quick.
Well, it's very difficult. And you have passwords, but also then there's other levels. There's another barrier to go through or another word to create, or it's maddening, just the management of that. And then now you're talking about you want to protect it. Yes, indeed.
Well, and really the first step is creating a password that's unique and difficult to figure out. So you want something that's a challenge and it's unique. So you don't want your first name and 123. You don't want that as your password. And then the second is, how do you remember them and how do you protect them? And in the article, they talked about 4 ways that people generally will use, remember, store, and protect their passwords. There's password management. There's the mental system. There's the physical copies, and there's documents and apps. And in the article, they'll rate them as safe, safe-ish, and then unsafe. So the first one that they talked about was the password management, and that is the safest way to go about it. So that is a system you can go online and find a password management company, and you can place in their system, in your account, all of your passwords. So you'll have all your usernames and all your passwords for all your different accounts. They'll be housed there. And then within that system, you have one primary password that you would use. So anytime that you would need to access any of your accounts, you would just use that one primary password. So all you would have to do is remember that primary password. So the critical issue there is just making sure that it's something that's creative, unique, and a bit complex.
That sounds like a good one and an easy way.
It is an easy way.
It
was surprising that something like in a research study that was done by Bitwarden, which was one of the password management firms that was listed in the article, only about 30% of the folks that responded to their survey this year actually used password management firms. But that was, in the opinion of the author of the article, the most or the safest of the options is this password management. So really the critical issue there is making sure that that singular password that you would use is unique and complex, and then making sure that you protect that password.
It's simple. And then what's the mental one?
So the mental one is I remember.
Okay. Or you write it down.
Well, no. That's a different one. That's the physical copy. The mental one is you write it down. So that can be very secure because a hacker, a bad actor that we've talked about quite often in the show, they're not going to be able to hack your brain.
Not yet.
We're
10 years away from that, but
hopefully at least 10 years. What happens is because we're trying to remember 150, what we end up doing as individuals is we use the same password over and over. So that makes us more vulnerable.
That's so we can remember it, though.
That's right. Or we use a simple. So you do a combination of something that's simple or the same one, or you do an easy variation. So let's say you do
You're reading hometown. You must know my passwords. That's my whole technique.
So you do hometown 123, and for the next home password, you use hometown 456.
Exactly.
So that's the issue with the memory, is because there's so many that we have to remember, that it's either we tend to have too common of a password, or they're very similar, or they're the same passwords. So that would be, this idea of memory system would be a safe-ish. The other one that was safe-ish is what you just mentioned also, the physical copy. And that's where most of us live, where we write them down
and then
somewhere,
hide the paper or something.
And then hide the paper. So as long as you're hiding that paper, or you keep it in a notebook or whatever, as long as you keep that safe, then you're probably okay. But the challenge would be some people leave it in a desk drawer and it becomes access, or some people write it on a sheet of paper and leave it underneath their keyboard, or you leave it out on your desk in the office and it's opened up to your password so somebody could walk by and see it. So again, you've got to make sure that if you're going to go with the physical copy aspect of it, you make sure that you keep that safe. And then the last one are documents and apps. And about 23% of us use that. And this is the least safe. This is unsafe. So on my computer, I'll open up a document and I'll list all of my passwords. Well, if somebody hacks into my system,
they have that document.
They have that document. Now, you can make it a bit safer if you password activate that document, but there's still an issue. If somebody hacks into your system, they can find that. Again, the password management system is the safest way to go. The memory or the physical copies would be the next safest ways to go. But you just have to be careful about those two. One, can you remember them all? And two, is the password too simple or too repeatable? So those would be the go. And then the document or app would be the one that they're recommending to move away from. And regardless of the process that you go through, everywhere you read, they always recommend some sort of a multi-authentication program. And I always mess that word up. But that ability, you have to sign in twice. So, for example, you would use your username and password, and then maybe it comes in with a visual that you have to type in the letters. Or it has what's your key, what was your best friend's first name.
Yeah, there's so many things to remember. And can you imagine people 100 years ago that we'd even be talking about this? They'd be like, what? You're going to have to do what in 100 years from now?
Well, before it was
fascinating.
Yeah, before it was our the phone book that we kept with us, or the different phone numbers and addresses that we had. The
account numbers, yeah.
Account numbers, and the same kind of issue in that if you ever lost it, but not nearly as concerning as it is today. Well, if they'd like to be properly insured, if you'd like to make sure that your home is properly insured, your car, your rental property, your apartment, that you've got flood insurance now that we're in the flood season, the hurricane season, we can help you out, and you can reach us at 866-798-2827. If you are a real estate broker or realtor and have an interest in professional liability or errors and omissions coverage, property management firm, independent title and attorney agent, we can help with your business insurance. Again, at 866-798-2827. You can learn more about us at stewardinsurance.com, or you can email us at stewardinsurance@stewart.com.
You're teaching classes also. You, John Bramlett, you're out there on the beat right here in Houston, Texas. One of the classes I was at last week, The Two Sides of Water, we've talked about it on this show many times, a tremendous class. You can help people there too.
Absolutely. So we are licensed in the state of Texas.
Someone out there in Needville or in Rosenberg, RE/MAX Traditions, right?
Absolutely.
Angie?
We can do that. Keller Williams Memorial, RE/MAX Traditions, we can teach. We're licensed in the state of Texas to provide continuing education classes for real estate brokers and realtors. So we have the Two Sides of Water. We have a class on limiting the liability so you don't get yourself in trouble and potentially put your license or your broker's license in trouble. And then an overview of how insurance companies look at the different residential properties from an insurance perspective.
Very informative. John Bramlett, Steward Insurance. People want to be properly insured. They can call
866-798-2827, 866-798-2827.
Thank you so much.
Always a pleasure, Bill.
I say it very frequently, stay close to your Steward Title Business Development Officer, and we have Joyce Eisenberg right here covering our offices in Katy and Fulshire. Joyce, welcome to the show.
Thanks, Bill.
Well, let's tell people a quick word about your office.
So
Offices.
I am in Katy and Fulshire.
How's that going?
That's going great.
Okay, Fulshire, we hear there's a lot of activity. Certainly Katy's is always happening, but Fulshire's like really busy too, isn't it?
Fulshire is up and coming and booming.
Once again, people expanding out to all the areas.
Yep.
Let's tell people they want to close the real estate transaction, Steward Title, Katy, or the Fulshire area. What should they do?
You can usually find me at Steward Title Fulshire or Steward Title Katy Facebook pages for everything that's going on and all the good stuff.
Because you do have events just like all our business development people do, so they can go to the Facebook pages. And if someone wants to give you a call, Joyce Eisenberg.
832-389-4306.
One more time.
832-389-4306.
There you go. I'm going to check those Facebook pages out myself. And now, back with RE/MAX Traditions, Angie Middlebrooks. She's here. Angie, welcome back to the show.
Thank you, bunches.
Thank you, bunches. Well, let's tell people, before we close things down, what should people want to know about what's going on in your area?
That RE/MAX Traditions is servicing, we'll say, Sugarland south of the Brazos River, Richmond, Rosenberg, Beasley, Needville, all of those
And your
areas.
brand new office, too.
We are. We have a fabulous office, too. We are in what used to be the Exchange Hotel on Morton Street. We're just down the block from Sandy McGee's. If you know our area, everybody knows Sandy McGee's. That gives people a good landmark for those that are used to the area.
But after you being here, I want to learn more about those areas, because one of the great things about Houston, whether you just got to Houston, lived here for 30 years, doesn't matter. There's always another place to explore.
I agree. And you mentioned earlier that you might want to do a satellite visit. I'd love to have you at our office. It is a fabulous location. The owner of our building restored our building beautifully, and I have the privilege of sharing that space. Would love to have you.
So it's kind of a historic space.
It is absolutely a historic space.
So let's tell people once again, Angie Middlebrooks. That's plural, Middlebrooks.
That's right.
Easy to remember. How can people reach you, Angie?
New location, 306 Morton Street, Richmond, Texas. We are Traditions Texas, Traditions TX on Instagram and Facebook. And then you can reach me directly, 832-228-7737. 832-228-7737.
Thank you so much, Angie Middlebrooks. Here she is, Victoria Amox with Blue Moon Estate Sales. Victoria, welcome back.
I just want to let people know that we are a leader in the estate sale execution and planning here in the area. And if anybody is looking to downsize, moving, they might be adult children of somebody downsizing and moving maybe into assisted living or independent living, we can help them out with an estate sale. We also reach out to realtors for clients that may need to do the same, also to lawyers, probate lawyers, also to financial planners or advisors for people that they may be speaking with that need to downsize or.
Very nice.
Okay.
Victoria, let's tell people how they can reach you.
Okay, they can reach us at 832-614-8490 or BlueMoonEstateSales.com, or they can reach me at vamox@BlueMoonEstateSales.com. And thank you very much for having me.
It's our pleasure. Thanks for being on the show. Thank you all for listening to Real Estate Matters with Steward Title. Great stuff here today. Don't forget, go to stewart.com/radio. That's right. You can see and hear this show anytime at stewart.com/radio. Not only that, you can go back many, many, many shows and see past shows right there at stewart.com/radio. Thank you for listening to the show. Please come back next week on behalf of John Bramlett and yours truly, your host, Bill Knapik. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next week.